The surge of immigration arrests in Minneapolis and other cities shows no signs of letting up. Scripps News has learned that the Trump administration has been taking steps to hire private companies to help track down suspected undocumented immigrants at home and at work. Our months-long investigation initiative called ICE Inc. spotlights how the mass deportation push has enriched for-profit businesses. Scripps News investigative correspondent Patrick Terpstra is live in our D.C. newsroom. And Patrick, you've been looking at about a dozen companies set to rake in millions of dollars by finding and photographing immigrants.
Yeah, and that's had some to call them bounty hunters. We're talking about 13 companies that got contracts just before Christmas to help ICE boost their immigration arrest numbers. And if they do so, they can make a lot of money. Federal agents burst into a home in Minneapolis with a battering ram this month to take a Liberian immigrant into custody. Now, even more people might be targeted with an avalanche of new money for ICE from Congress, $30 billion. Many arrests like these begin with ICE first determining where people live or work, sometimes using a lengthy process known as skip tracing. In December, ICE awarded contracts to 13 companies to provide skip tracing services nationwide for the next 2 years, according to federal contracting records reviewed by the Scripps News investigative team. The actual contracts aren't public, but in October, DHS published this document saying ICE had an immediate need for skip tracing, using government data, the web, and physical in-person surveillance, providing a collection of photos and documents verifying the alien's residence and/or place of employment to the government. And the job doesn't end there. Contractors may be asked to deliver and serve official government documents to the alien. There is also the potential for bonuses. The more undocumented immigrants they find, the more money the businesses can make.
We're going to come back for your whole family, okay?
No, okay, no problem.
Are these companies essentially bounty hunters?
I would agree with that. It's the same kind of incentive situation.
Sharon Bradford Franklin is former chair of the government's U.S. Privacy and Civil Liberties Oversight Board. How do we know that these companies that are getting paid will be responsible?
We don't. And that's one of the real problems here.
The contracting records show the companies could bring in over $1.2 billion combined searching for immigrants. Some are big firms, like a company run by the Geo Group, a corporation that operates private ICE detention centers for the government. We found other grant recipients list a post office box or home as the company address. Here's an example. Fraud Inc., run out of an apartment in Conroe, Texas. Reached by phone, Fraud Inc.'s president told us he works from home. ICE limits what he can say, but he said that his aim is to find as many undocumented immigrants as possible. He could earn up to $25 million, according to records we reviewed. $25 million. That seems like a lot of money for a small company.
It does to me as well. Are there guardrails in place to ensure that they are finding the right person?
Gravitas Professional Services is another company led by Adam Visnick. He declined to talk to us, but his many YouTube videos show his work had been focused on much smaller jobs. Gravitas could earn more than $32 million from ICE. That's a lot of money for a business that lists a box in this Ohio post office as its main headquarters. But not as much as a company called AI Solutions 87, an LLC that lists this home in Wisconsin as its offices. The business could make more than $48 million looking for immigrants. No one from AI Solutions 87 would talk to us. ICE did not respond to our questions about the contracts. The hired companies are required to follow federal, state, and local laws. Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy, Democrat of Illinois, just introduced the No Private Bounty Hunters for Immigration Enforcement Act. He says using private entities to locate immigrants would invite abuse, errors, and the erosion of public trust.
When the government outsources this type of surveillance, it increases the risk of abuse. There's even less ability to have oversight. There are rules that simply don't apply.
Can you put the guns down? There's kids in this house.
A question of just how much oversight there will be for companies racing to locate as many undocumented immigrants as possible. And many of these companies have not yet received a penny. But a weird thing happened as we were reporting out this story. Several weeks ago, all of the companies had money obligated to them, and that showed up in the records. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'll give you an example. Fraud Inc., which we had talked about, showed $348,000 had been obligated to that company. Well, then we checked a week ago, and all of those amounts had been zeroed out. So on paper, these companies haven't received anything, but the records show each one of those companies still has the potential to make millions and millions of dollars doing this work. Andrew?
And Patrick, many of our ICE Inc. reports have exposed problems at immigration detention centers owned and operated by for-profit companies given no-bid contracts. One of those places getting a lot of attention right now is in Texas, where that 5-year-old boy is detained by ICE, who was captured in Minneapolis, held again with his father. We've learned a lot about a big protest out there over the weekend. Patrick, what more can you tell us?
Yeah, and you're taking a look now at that really powerful photograph of that 5-year-old that was detained along with his father. A big protest in Dilley. That is the detention center in Texas where the child and his father were moved by ICE from Minneapolis. So over the weekend, a number of folks inside that detention center making very clear their opposition to what's been going on there. Take a listen. We've got a piece of video taken from outside Dilley where that little boy is. You can actually hear some of the detainees in their own voices. Yeah, you can hear that, those voices there at Dilley. Dilley is run by the Core Civic Company. Again, we have been looking at conditions at these private facilities all over the country, and what makes Dilley unique is that there are children there, hundreds of children. They are with their families, so these are people that the mother or father have been detained by ICE, and they go with their parents down to Dilley. This area, though, of Dilley, where this child is being held, there have been a lot of concerns about the treatment of children there. 300 kids have been held more than 20 days there. That was a big finding of a Scripps investigation over the fall. That's important to know because the courts have said that 20 days is the maximum that any child should be held in detention. And again, just in Dilley alone, we found 300 kids held beyond that limit. Andrew.
All right, investigative correspondent Patrick Terpstra for us. Patrick, thank you for that extensive reporting.